Welcome back to the Hoop Chat. I'm Emily Austin, and here with me today is Zach Colllins of the San Antonio Spurs, live from Nevada, which leads me right into my first question, Zach. Is it Nevada or is it Nevada? Let's debunk this once and for all.
Nevada.
I was almost joking when I prompted it.
To be honest, I don't know what it is. It probably is Nevada, but if you live here, from here, I think most people say Nevada.
Wow, I have to tell you, you might be the first person to actually say Nevada, but okay, here's another one for you. Is it Zara or Zara?
Zara.
Okay, fine. So you're like 1 for 2. I'll accept those stats. Before we get started into your personal life, I want to just talk about some current events. You guys had a huge offseason. You drafted Wemby. What does that mean for now, the San Antonio Spurs? And where do you see you guys at this time next season?
Um, I feel like we're just going to be a lot better than we were last year. I think our biggest issue this year was defense, and I've said this before in an interview. I just think Wemby's going to help us a lot there. I think he's just going to help us at the rim. I think, me being 7 foot, him being 7'4", whatever he is with his
Wow.
wingspan, I think it's going to give our guards a lot more freedom up top to pressure the ball handler. And then if they get blown by, we're going to be there. So I think that alone is just going to help our record a lot more. So hopefully we're in the playoffs next year. That's definitely the goal. I think we can do it.
And how often do you meet people that are taller than you?
Never, never. So when I met Wemby, it was crazy. It was a weird, weird feeling. I told my friends that I know how they feel now.
A picture of you guys side by side?
Not yet, not yet.
Oh, that would have been a great edit.
It's crazy. It's crazy standing next to him. But like I said, it's going to help us a lot. So I'm looking forward to it.
Not everyone's as lucky to be coached by the famous Coach Pops, but you are one of the people that are. How do you think having him as a coach has affected your game?
It's just definitely just giving me a lot more confidence. He definitely kind of he plays to your strengths, and he kind of sees what you're good at, and he sees your weaknesses, and he just tries to play and put you in a position to where you can be successful. He puts you in a position that he knows you can score in, in a simple example, but also just how you carry yourself, how you treat people, the things you care about in the world, making sure you're staying up to date on like current events and whatnot. It's kind of just the whole package when it comes to your career and your life outside of your career. You learn all that from Pop, so it's been pretty dope.
You said he keeps you updated on current events.
He still just thinks it's important to know what's going on in the world. And yeah, I know it sounds like simple and like it wouldn't be the case, but I mean, randomly, before a shoot around, before a practice, even before a game, sometimes we'll just throw like a news clip on the screen, but right before
Wow.
film, and just kind of everybody will kind of be caught off guard a little bit. And again, I think that's part of his philosophy in general is just to make sure you're up to date on stuff, but it also puts basketball and losing games or missing shots into perspective with knowing what's really going on in the real world. So I think that's part of his whole plan.
Speaking of the bigger plan, it's no secret that within your first few years you've struggled with many injuries, but what has that taught you about yourself and overcoming those hardships?
I feel like I can just get through anything now. I think that the mentally was the hardest part, getting back and playing again. I think physically and showing up every day, was it was a grind, and I had to kind of push through that. But the hardest part was just mentally pushing through and having that confidence when I got back to the court finally after those 2 years. So I just learned that I could do it. Basically, you don't know you can do something until you do it, and I did it, and I'm back, and I'm not happy that I lost 2 years really of playing in the NBA, but I'm happy that what I went through is definitely going to help me going forward in life in general for sure. So
You don't lose, you just grow. Well, I'm a sore loser, so I don't know how much I believe in that.
But
hey,
it's a
you me
nice
both.
saying.
That must
Just
mean you win
next.
a lot if you're a bad loser.
I played tennis very competitively growing up, and I never had a teammate to blame. I never played doubles even. I was always solo on the court. And when I had a bad game, I would lock myself away for like weeks. I wouldn't even go to school for a week after I lost. So I always thought that I was a little psycho for doing that, but then I met Venus Williams at F1, And I told her, I was like, I quit because I was such a sore loser. I wasn't prepared to go pro. And she's like, how are you a sore loser? I said, I locked myself away every time I lost. And she's like, oh, I did the same thing. And I was like, I should have kept going. I should have just kept playing.
Like Venus. There you go.
For this next segment, this is called the Austin Awards, where I asked you earlier what your favorite 3 movies are. Now in this graphic here, I listed them and you need to rank them, 1 being your favorite and 3rd being your less favorite.
You ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
I'll probably have to go Goodfellas 1, Social Network 2, and Inglourious Basterds 3.
That was like quick. Have you thought about that before?
A few times. A few times.
Can I break your heart?
Do you not like it?
No, I never watched any of those.
That's even worse.
Yeah. So when I was gonna ask you this, usually I have like a little bit of a say in my Austin Awards, but I can't tell you that I've even watched one of your favorite movies. So I got some homework to do.
You won't be disappointed, I don't think.
What I like to do is obviously a lot of fans have questions for these players and probably can't reach you, but I always post in advance and announce that you were coming on. So I did gather 3 questions from 3 lucky fans, and I'm going to ask you what they wanted to ask you. First being, I guess we're going to start off on a negative note. Which injury, in your opinion, was the worst and why?
I'll probably say the 3rd ankle surgery I had. It was the same injury I had 3 times, but the third occurrence definitely hurt the most for sure. Just because it was like the first surgery was a 4-month rehab, and into that rehab it fractured again. The second surgery we took our time even more. That was like 6 months, 6.5 months, and toward the end of that one it fractured again. So you just kind of felt like you didn't know if it ever was gonna be right again, just because it failed twice already.
Wow.
So the third one definitely was a little scary.
Well, being in that position, like, what's something, I know this is very cliche, but I feel like you'd have to be in a dark place going through that. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, you definitely are. I mean, usually bad news for me, or like bad moments or like embarrassing moments, bad games or whatever, I'll be pretty bent up for a couple hours, but no more than like a day, and then I'm pretty good after that.
Wow.
But this one obviously took a little bit longer. And with injuries, every time I was able to get past the point of like, okay, you're injured, and then when we formulate a plan of like, okay, at week 2 we're doing this, and month 3 we're doing this, then it just becomes about showing up every day and wanting to live your life and be happy. At the end of the day, like I just didn't want to go through it and be mad the whole time and waste 6, 7 months of my life when I could have just showed up and been in a good mood and everything would have been a lot better. So that's really what I told myself, was just to enjoy it and make every day as good as you can in terms of attacking rehab, and then after that and enjoying the free time you have, because I did have a lot of free time to hang with my family and
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of have a lot of more experiences that I wouldn't have because I was playing so many games. So I just try to look at the positives and just just kind of show up, man. I mean, the other choice is not showing up and you quit. So I just didn't want to do that. So
True. Absolutely. This second question is pretty funny for me. Is Portland as boring as people say it is?
no, it's not. Like that was the spot. It was really, really good. Um, Good steakhouses. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just a fun place to be. I mean, people are cool now, like ever since, the stuff that happened during COVID and all that. And I mean, it's kind of like downtown is not, it's still recovering, I think, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of downtown where I stayed has always been pretty solid.
Well, I spent 1 week in Portland, and here was what I did. There was a mall. I went to the mall. The mall was abandoned. And then I went to Home Goods. And then I went to an acai place. And then back to the mall. And then back to Home Goods. And then back to the acai place. And then back to my room. And then I did one hike where there was an alleged haunted house. Have you been on that one?
Well, I don't think I have.
So I can confirm it is not haunted because I sat there in the forest and I'm like, someone come scare me. Let me see a ghost or something. And I was pretty disappointed. But that's nice that you thought it was fun.
I had a great time. I'm sorry that you had a bad week. I'm assuming you were downtown though, right?
I, where was I? I was like, I don't even know, man. I just remember there was one hair salon and I was so bored I kept getting my hair done.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Maybe I'll give it another round.
The opportunity to have fun is there for sure, for sure.
The landscape is nice. I don't think I took advantage of it, but having the bad weather also really affected it.
See, and that you guys definitely got to go at the right time. Like summertime is ideal. It's perfect. It's like 85 degrees, 90 degrees, maybe. It's not humid. It's just really, really, really solid weather, and there's a lot more things you can do.
Well, you said 90 pretty generously, and I forgot you're from Nevada. Nevada. But 90.
When it's 90 outside, I need a hoodie, man. It's cold.
Okay, last fan question. If you were not a basketball player, very cliche question, fan, what would you be doing right now?
When I was a kid, I used to want to ride like dirt bikes and ATVs for the rest of my life.
What?
Yeah, because when we grew up, we that was a big thing, like all the time, like all the holidays, not all the holidays, but like Halloween, New Year's, and then especially in the springtime, we would go camping, and we had a bunch of ATV stuff, and we had like three families, and we park our trailers around the campfire. Um, but anyways, we were really into it when I was a kid, so that I thought I was gonna do that the rest of my life, so that would have been cool.
Wait, how would you have monetized ATV riding?
I, I didn't look at the monetizing of that yet, but I thought I was just going to be faster than everybody, and everything was going to work out, you know. But we cut that off about when I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. So just that dream was quick.
Your parents said you cannot ride ATV bikes for a living?
Unfortunately, yeah, they put the kibosh on that one.
Well, I think you ended up just fine.
Yeah, you can make that argument, I guess.
Okay, before my guests go, we love to come up with a very creative game personalized for them. So for your game, we created 7 tables of things personalized to what you said you enjoy. So I'm going to read you the tables, and you have to choose which table are you sitting at. This is very life or death, so choose wisely.
It's really just between, for me, two tables. It's really between two tables for sure.
Which ones?
Table 2 and table 5.
Sam Hunt and The Last of Us, table 5.
If you would have put the first Black Ops with Dame, it might have been Dame might have taken it.
Okay.
Table 6. And then Trey, I would love to sit with my point guard, but I was not a fan of the second Last of Us.
Really? Trey, he doesn't like you.
No, 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 no.
Trey, that was a joke.
I'm trying to pick the most complete table. All right. Because it really comes down to the games at table 2 and 5, because The Last of Us is my favorite like single player game ever. But UFC I could just mindlessly get on and beat people up online. So
It's a good way to relieve stress.
I wanted to go table 5, UFC and Drake, because Drake also just has more music right now. Yeah, I'll go table 5. That's perfect.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I promised you it would be short and sweet, but I appreciate your time, and I had a lot of fun playing all these games with you and our creative little graphics that we made.
That was a great time. Appreciate you having me.